Today, we're diving into a piece of tech that's probably already in your life, even if you've never heard of it. It's called Edge AI. It's the secret sauce that lets your smartwatch detect a fall or your car make a split-second life-saving maneuver. We're going to break down exactly how it works by moving the brain out of the cloud and putting it right where the action is.
I want you to picture this. You're in a self-driving car, cruising down the highway, and damn, the car in front of you swerves out of nowhere. Your car has to react instantly. There's literally no time to send an SOS to some server miles away and wait for instructions. The decision has to happen right there, in that hunk of metal, right now. That single, high-stakes moment, that's the whole reason Edge AI is becoming so incredibly important.
So what is this technology that makes that kind of instant, on-the-spot thinking possible? Well, it's called Edge AI. And honestly, the name says it all. It's all about bringing the intelligence, the brain of the operation, as close as physically possible to where things are actually happening.
At its heart, the idea is actually pretty simple. Instead of shipping all your data off to some massive, faraway cloud server to be analyzed, the AI algorithms run directly on the device itself. We're talking your phone, your car, a little sensor on a factory machine. The thinking happens right there on the spot. No middleman.
Okay, I love this analogy. It makes it so clear. Think of the traditional cloud AI as being like a giant central library. If you need information, you've got to make the trip, right? It takes time and effort. Edge AI, on the other hand, is like having that exact book you need sitting right on your nightstand. It's right there, it's instantly accessible. No travel time required.
So to really get why Edge AI is such a big deal, we need to put it head-to-head with the cloud. Let's break down the 4 key differences that really show what makes these two approaches so distinct.
This table lays it all out perfectly. First up, latency. That's just a fancy word for delay. With Edge AI, the response is almost instantaneous, which is, essential for that self-driving car. The cloud is just naturally slower because of the distance. Second, bandwidth. Edge AI uses way less internet bandwidth because most of the work is done locally. The cloud, well, it's a data hog. It needs a big, constant connection. Third, and this is a huge one, security. With Edge AI, your data often stays on your device. That's a massive win for privacy. When you use the cloud, your data has to travel, which always creates a potential risk. And finally, computing power. Okay, here's where the cloud wins. It has virtually unlimited power. Edge AI is always going to be limited by the little chip it's running on.
So you see those trade-offs, right? You might be wondering, why is this idea of on-device intelligence taking off? Well, it's because the real-world advantages you get from this local approach are just incredible. And make no mistake, this isn't some niche experimental idea. People are putting serious money behind this. The market was already worth tens of millions early on, and that number is expected to just explode. This kind of rapid growth tells you we're in the middle of a major shift in how we design our technology.
So the real takeaway here is that processing things locally gives you all these fantastic benefits. You get those lightning-fast responses, you save a ton on data, and, super important, you keep your private information more secure. This doesn't just cut down on expensive cloud computing costs. It means your gadgets can give you real-time insights even if they're not connected to the internet. It just makes everything smarter, faster, and more reliable.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but where is Edge AI actually popping up in the real world? Let's look at a few places you might already be using it without even knowing. First up, healthcare. This is an area where speed and privacy aren't just convenient. They can be the difference between life and death.
Think about the wearables so many of us have on our wrists. They're constantly tracking our vitals. A modern smartwatch can figure out you've had a hard fall and call for help all by itself, processing that event right there on your wrist. Or imagine this, paramedics getting a live feed of a patient's data before they even get to the scene. This is already saving lives by getting the right information to the right people instantly.
All right, now let's jump from the hospital to the factory floor. This is another place where making instant decisions is totally changing the game, making everything way more efficient and a lot safer.
Yeah, in a modern factory, Edge AI is a total game changer. You've got sensors on a critical machine that can predict it's going to fail before it actually breaks down, saving a fortune in downtime. You have smart cameras that can spot a tiny defect on an assembly line in a split second. This kind of on-the-spot intelligence is just making manufacturing more productive with less waste, and it's making it safer for the people who work there.
And finally, let's bring this all the way back into our own homes. Because if you have any kind of smart device, chances are Edge AI is already a quiet part of your daily routine.
You see these smart doorbells now that can recognize familiar faces? More and more, they're doing that analysis right there on the device itself, not in the cloud.
And why is that so important? Privacy. It's all about privacy. When your personal data is being processed inside your own house instead of on some company's remote server, well, your privacy is just on a whole other level.
So we've looked at what Edge AI is, what its pros and cons are, and where you can find it today. But what does this all mean for the future? Where is this whole trend taking us?
At the end of the day, you have to understand that Edge AI isn't just another tech upgrade. It is a fundamental shift. We're moving away from a world of devices that are simply connected to the internet to a world of devices that are genuinely intelligent, all on their own. They're becoming more autonomous, way more responsive, and just more deeply woven into the fabric of our lives.
And that really leaves us with a huge question to think about. As we start giving a little brain to everything, from our cars to our coffee makers, what does a truly intelligent world actually look like? The only thing we know for sure is that we're just at the very beginning of finding out.